join me into a fantastic journey into this little boy's mind. Okay, students, please take out a piece of paper and a pencil. Oh, wow, look at these shoes. These are light-up ones. I really want those. And Steven's got a new Batman book bag. I'm going to ask him where his mommy got him that one for lunch. I wonder what they're serving in the cafeteria. It's Sloppy Joe's. If any of you could relate to that little boy's thought process, chances are you may have ADD or ADHD. Do you know anybody that's been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD? Is it a real ailment or just something doctors overdiagnose and overmedicate? As a parent of a child with ADD, I have done much research on various treatments to help my child live a normal life. Now that he's a young adult, I decided to do some more research to find out if it continues to ail adults in adulthood. Today I would like to share some insight into ADD, ADHD, and its effects from childhood to adulthood. What is ADHD? What are some of the causes and effects? And how is it treated or managed? Although it's not precisely known what the causes are, we do know that it's a genetic disorder. It's a chemical imbalance in the brain. 57% of children diagnosed with ADHD have parents with similar symptoms. Let's take a look at the symptoms. It's inattention, hyperactivity, emotional, and impulsivity. A therapist, when I took my son to Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami, he explained it best in layman's terms to me. He said, imagine watching TV and somebody is constantly flipping the channels on a remote. This is the thought process of an ADD child. It is more common in boys than in girls by a ratio of 3 to 1. And in a recent article in biomedcentral.com, Advances in Understanding and Treating ADHD states, and I quote, the ADHD prevalence was once estimated to be 3 to 5% of school-aged children, but more recent studies place the figure closer to 7 to 8% of school-aged children and 4 to 5% in adults. In a videotape interview on 5min.com, Dr. Stephen Pavlakis, Chief of Pediatric Neurology, says ADHD is not a disease, but rather an immaturity of concentration. Now this implies that it can be outgrown. However, according to the website ADD-ADHD.org, approximately 60% of those diagnosed with ADHD will continue to experience these symptoms into their adulthood. ADD and ADHD. Adults' symptoms are very subtle and often confused with other ailments such as depression and laziness. In a media clip from Healthline.com, Treatments for Adults ADHD, Dr. David Pomeroy of ADD Center in Bellevue, Washington states, quote, ADHD doesn't always have the same effects on everybody, making it very difficult to diagnose. Everybody's ADD is quite unique. Now, how is ADD diagnosed? Well, there isn't any laboratory test per se that you can get. However, it is a clinical diagnosis based on thorough medical history and careful assessment and evaluation of the child and the family. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the causes and effects. Causes and effects are the negative ones that we already discussed, hyperactivity, inattention, impulsivity, but it does have some positive ones. These children are intensely creative, highly intellectual, and risk takers. As a matter of fact, David Neeleman, CEO and founder of JetBlue Airlines, publicly stated ADHD is one of his greatest assets because of his creativity and risk-taking. In adults, it affects home, workplace, and relationships. Now, in my research, I saw a video clip which I would love to share with you, but I'll briefly explain it. She goes into the kitchen. This young professional woman, adult, wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to clean the house today. She goes into the kitchen and starts with the junk drawer. You know we all have one. So she sees some pictures in there. She decides, I'm going to organize this. She takes out her scrapbooking material. The phone rings. Girlfriend invites her to the movies, and she goes to the movies. Next thing you know, the husband comes home. He sees the drawer open in the kitchen, scrapbook material all over the place, and the last conversation they had, she was going to clean the house all day. So you can see how this can be a problem in relationships. Now that we know a little bit about the causes and effects, Now that we know a little bit about the causes and effects, let me go into some treatment and management. There's two main treatments, medication and behavioral management. Stimulants is not a cure, but just an aid, such as Ritalin and Adderall. They do come with some side effects, such as poor appetite, weight loss, and lack of sleep. Now, according to WebMD, college students have been known to abuse these stimulants to stay awake. Now, there are some non-stimulants, and according to a recent article in BMC Medicine found in BioMedCentral.com, several new non-stimulant options have also emerged in the past year. They have less side effects and can last up to 24 hours. Behavioral management. This requires strong, consistent parental support, and this is key. This reinforces the stimulants, the use of stimulants. Things such as homework folder for communication between parent and teacher, and a system, positive reinforcement. One of the things that I used to use with my children, and this is something I read years ago, is instead of saying, be good, because that implies they're bad, I would say, be better, because you're already good. Little things like that. A system of consistent rewards and consequences is another helpful tip. I used to have a behavioral chart on my son's door with a list of chores. He would accumulate stars, and at the end of the week, he could turn those stars into a video game or time on the computer or something like that. Okay. Structure and routine is also very important. This creates a strong sense of adequacy and self-worth. Explore the child's talents, participation in extracurricular activities such as sports, music clubs, youth groups, church groups. They all help to improve self-esteem, social skills, and increase focuses in children's, teens, and adults. Medications affect everyone differently. So therefore, trial and error is key to find a perfect marriage of both of them. To find the perfect marriage of both of them to find the right results. Now that I have given you some insight into what ADHD is and explained some of the causes and effects, and explained two of the main treatments, I ask you, the next time you see a child darting in and out of the clothes rack at Walmart, will you ask yourself, is this ADHD or is this just a spirited child? The next time you find yourself compelled to call your worker lazy or incompetent, will you perhaps be a little bit more understanding and patient? There is no question that ADHD is highly overdosed, is overdiagnosed and overtreated. But remember this, active children become active adults, and active adults become role models for children. Adults such as these, who not only survived, but became empowered by their affliction. Robin Williams. Did it one more time?
No, you can.
Oh. Robin Williams, hyperactive? Yes. Cher? That was a surprise. Justin Timberlake. Kathy Griffin, very talented. Einstein, who'd have thought? And Ty Bennington, I love his shirt. Thank you. Questions?
With your child, did you decide to go the medication route or a little bit of both?
With Dorian, I initially, there's so much, this is such a broad material, and I had to cut so much out of this, but there's so many things that I wanted to share with you guys, and I actually noticed it when in kindergarten with my son. Something as simple as Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jump over the candlestick. He could not memorize that. We spent hours, I took a candlestick and sat it between us, and he just couldn't get it. Then I realized there's a problem. And it wasn't, my cousin who's a teacher for special needs children, she discovered that he needed glasses. And then she's the one that told me to go to Jack's Memorial, and he was diagnosed as ADD. He didn't have the hyperactivity, but he did have the ADD. They started him on Ritalin, but now he also has asthma. So and I think, this is my philosophy, that the albuterol didn't quite, had some reaction with the Ritalin because he kept complaining of chest pains. So at that point, that's when I started researching, and I tried all kinds of natural remedies. I gave him valerian root, and I tried all these different types of behavior. I was constantly just, doing everything for him. And, thank God now I mean, he still has his ADD and OCD and all these things, but, you know, he's functional and he knows that the main thing about the behavioral management is that you're teaching them how to deal with it. So, you know, he knows he's gotta write things down or he'll forget. You know, he's gotta put his keys in the same place every single day or he'll lose them. Things like that. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it's just because I do preschool kids and you can almost kind of already see it in some of them coming out, but I know they like to wait till a certain age too.
Yeah, and I remember the teacher she knew when he was not on the medication. She knew it.
Oh, the mess.
Yes. Any other questions? No? Okay, well, thank you.
You did a really good job covering it. That was good.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Last question.
Oh, yeah.
What did the speaker do well? Examples, organization, delivery, use of audio, visual aids, etc.
All the above.
Yeah. And they kind of tying it in at the end with someone everybody knows, you know.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. When I started looking into it, I'm like, wow, you know, like I would have never thought Cher. Robin Williams, yeah, right off the bat. That's a no-brainer.
How can they die? I mean, Einstein's pretty dead.
Yeah.
How could they diagnose him as
Just
ADHD?
based on research and how his habits,
Because he
actually,
got kicked out of school and he,
he's very rambunctious and, yeah, just,
So they're just guessing?
or I don't know if they have
No, they did he got kicked out of school and he had all the characteristics of, not only a gifted child, but.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and one of the-
I teach school and that might be a paper on it.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, they can tell by characteristics.
Awesome.
Okay, and what does the speaker